Well, good day, friends. My name's David Baker. I'm a volunteer out at Landmark Park, and I'm here today with one of my horses. His name is Blue. He is a halflinger, and I'll share some things about Blue, and we're going to harness Blue, but I'll also share some information about a harness because it's vitally important that if you are driving a team of horses and have someone helping you, they need to know the harness parts as well as yourself, and so that helps with good safety. So this is Blue. He is a halflinger, and halflingers come from the Tyrolean mountain region of southern Austria and northern Italy, and the sire that started the halflinger breed was an Arabian stallion, and he was crossed with a little mountain mare there in the Tyrolean mountain region. And so this is what halflingers look like. He's a little bit on the bigger side, and but they have a sorrel body with a light mane and tail, and they range in 13 hands to 15 hands, which is 5 foot down to 8 inches, 4 foot 2, 8, 4, somewhere in there. But if you know anything about horses, you know what a hand is. It's the width across your hand. And so Blue is an 8-year-old, and he's been out here at Landmark Park several times doing some wagon rides and doing some plowing and some things like that. So over a period of time, we're going to not only show you how to do the harnessing, but we're going to hitch, and we're going to drive, and we'll do the wagons, and we'll do the riding plow, and the walking plow, and some other items. And then this is a forerunner of what we're going to be doing in July and in August. We're going to have 2 special days of hands-on harness to hitch. And so check us out on Facebook, the website, and get registered so that you can come and be a part of this. And we'll have other breeds of horses here in the future, as well as here at those 2 special days. So look the website up, see the dates, and look forward to seeing you here. Okay, so I have Blue, and he has the mane, and we're going to prep him for getting harnessed. And so one of the first things that we do is I like to brush the manes down just a little bit and get it kind of untangled, and so his mane mainly leans to the right, and he is also my right-hand horse, my lead horse in the 2-horse or whatever hitch I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. He's my lead horse, and so I just like to straighten this out a little bit so that when we put the harness on, we can get the hair out of the way. And then before we put the harness on, we want to make sure, especially where the harness touches the body, we want to be able to brush down a little bit. And so I'm not going to brush the whole horse, but I like to brush around where the collar fits, and then do this side, and then and so I'll go back. This is where the belly band goes around and the saddle, and so we'll brush here, brush under here, get that stuff off, and whoa, whoa, whoa. And then back here we got where the spider goes to hold the harness on, down here on the back side, down here on the back side, and put your head up. Okay, let me tie him up so I can get around him a little bit better. One other thing we want to do also is that bugs will get on them, and so to keep them from stomping and kicking and the chance of getting their feet tangled up in some of the harness, we want to put a little bit of bug spray on, and down around their legs, up under their belly. We don't want to do too much in here because that's where the collar's going to fit, and the collar would rub and could create some blistering. And so we've got this. All right, this side. You can use whatever fly spray you like for horses. I use several different kinds. So if you see a brand I'm using, I'm not promoting that particular brand. I just happen to have that one. I got about 4 different brands at my place. And before I came over, I checked his feet. But one of the good things to do also is, if you'll come over this way, just take this foot up and just double check. You can clean it out a little bit. He got on some manure. And just keep it there. Check it out. And I just had his feet trimmed a couple of weeks ago, and they look real good. Okay, so now we want to get into our harness, and these are my drive lines for this particular time. These are called granite lines, and they have the look and feel of leather, and I like this kind of harness. All right, this is a collar. This is 100% leather. It has a snap at the top. And I don't think this strap, there's a strap right here that they have in there and is stapled in there when they transport it so it doesn't accidentally come open and pop open. I never open my collar up because this is wheat straw right in here. It's packed real tight. And so if you keep flopping this thing open, it'll eventually break in two right here. So what I do before putting the collar on the horse is I'll just kind of give it a little push down because it's going to slide over his head. And so he's pretty good about that. Goes over his head, comes back, and fits right back against his shoulders. Okay. So this is a 21-inch collar, and I got room to put my hand down in here. But right here is where the point of the draft is located. Right on the point of his shoulder, just above the point of the shoulder. And a horse actually pushes this collar with his shoulder in order to move the load. So in order for the horse to pull, he has to push with his shoulders against this. So that leads to putting on the harness. Now the harness, here again, this has the look and feel of leather, and really it's a lot better than leather because it does not rot. And you got four main parts of the harness. The first part is the bridle and those drive lines. That's the control on the horse. If we don't have the bridle and the drive lines, we're not going to do too much driving. We'll have more wrecks. So we have the control system. Then we have the holding up system, which is this back band, or saddle it's called, and there's a pad under it. And then we've got the straps that go down for the belly band. And then we have what is called the spider, and this has with it, it has the crupper that fits over the back tail. We've got the hip drops here that hold up the breeching, because the breeching is our stopping mechanism. And then we have the quarter straps, and I'll explain all of that as we go to put in here. Then we have the hames. These are what go on the collar, and then they're connected to the traces, and the traces have heel chains, and the heel chains are connected to the implement through a single tree, and so we'll get there. So what we want to do on my horses, we can put the harness on from either side, but we do have to work both sides. So first of all, I gather up the harness, and I put it all in one hand, like this. And I didn't tell you, but one of the reasons why I like these smaller horses is because they use lighter harness. And so that's one of the reasons why I like these little horses. So I come on around this way. And generally what I do is I'll set the hames up, and that hame strap here at the top, I put it in front of the collar until I can get the rest of the harness on so it doesn't slide off. And I get it around and pretty much get it in place. And then we start back with the hames. So I'll set the hames down in this groove right here, get them there, and then this bent so it takes shape there. And then we can go through and put the strap through the bottom hang. And then we got, snap that in place. And we'll buckle that up right here. Okay, so now our collar is all set. Pull some of that hair out so it doesn't rub him. Now flip that down. He looks so good in the field, I don't like to cut his mane, and then when I put the harness on, I wished I'd had it cut. So since he spends more time in the field than in the harness, we're going to leave the mane on. All right, so now that's the first thing I do. Now I move to the back. So I pull my spider back, pull that up, bring his tail out. This is a crupper. It goes under the tail, and what this does is it helps keep the harness centered up, and so we can go underneath the tail, and we don't want it tight, real tight, but it's got to be there. And so what happens when he bends forward, and we got a check line there, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but here we got the point of the hips right here, and so my breeching's down. He's put on some weight, but I still don't want the breeching down. If the breeching goes down too far, we go to stop, it pulls his hind legs off the ground. So we want it up here like this. Okay, so next thing I want to do is I want to snap the belly band. I'll be right over there. Let me get this adjustment. Okay. Now, because I'm old and fat, it's kind of hard to reach underneath there. So I get my hat and catch that thing. And then I can put my belly band on. And by the way, I just let that belly band all the way out on the other side. And now, if I take it up another notch over there, it'll be almost perfect because we need a little bit of hand in between here, because when he gets under a load, he's going to swell that chest up like a weightlifter lifting a weight. Okay, so now we've got that taken care of. Up on the left shoulder, we got the yoke strap. Okay, the yoke strap is what holds onto the tongue of the wagon. What we got here, whoa, that's good. I got this snap. It's going to go in the ring on the other side. The reason there's not a snap here is because when he's driving double, there's another horse right here. And so if I got all buckles up here, sometimes a horse can get their head locked in here or locked in this buckle, and then we have a wreck. So I try to eliminate all these little things that may lead up to an accident. Some of it is from experience, and some of it is listening to what somebody else taught me. Okay, so I'm going to snap this over here. So this hooks to the tongue on the pull, and it's a yoke that goes across between the two horses, and this snaps in there. This is called our pole strap because it's the pole on the wagon or the implement that we're pulling. So this goes actually up underneath, in between the horse and the belly band, and then that's a quarter strap, and this is the stopping system. So when the horse stops, the yoke is going to pull out here. And so if you look down here, that strap's going to go tight. See how that strap goes tight underneath the belly? Okay, and then it goes across the breeching. So that's the braking system for the harness. Now this is the pulling system for the harness. And so this goes back, and as I said, it goes down to, unsnaps here, and then it goes down here. Now these are called lazy straps, and the reason they're called that is it just keeps the trace up out of the way, but this hooks onto your implement. And so some implements will hook real tight, some will hook real short. So when somebody's helping me, I'll tell them, okay, if I want you to drop two, let two links down and hook into this link. If it's drop 4, then we drop down 4 links and put it into this link right there. So we drop them, whatever we drop, then that's the one, next one's the one we hook in. So this is for transporting. And then don't forget the other quarter strap. So we'll reach under here. Whoop. All right, now we're all set. So we can pull a wagon, or we can actually pull something with a set of shafts on it. And we have to be careful working these animals. The heat is not so tough on them, but it's the humidity. And so when you do a combination of temperature plus humidity, as it is today, it's right at 170 or a little bit over. That is the temperature plus the humidity. When it gets to 150, you can work your horse in an hour's time. You can work about 15 minutes, take about 10 minutes, because the humidity is the downfall of a horse. A mule can handle it just slightly better. Though at 150, we cut way back. At 180, we just park them. Okay, so here we are on the last part of our harnessing. We're going to put the head stall, and this is blinders. This is not so they can't see. It helps them to focus. And so this is a bit. It's a straight bit. It's called the Liverpool straight shank. And those are the kinds that I use. I even use these to train my horses, and so that they get used to it, because they have some stopping power if we need to. So we're going to put it right here. Now on a cold day, you don't want to just stick that cold bit in your horse's mouth, because what will happen is you freeze their tongue or get them to where they don't want any part of that bit. So this is called the throat latch, and we'll get in here and put that around, and this helps keep the halter on. This horse is bad about rubbing his halter off and rubbing the bridle off, and so we have to do that, make sure snug without choking him. This is the curb chain, and the curb chain is here. When I'm by myself, nobody's around, I put my snaps in here. If I'm doing a wagon ride out here, I'll put it down here, so I've got a little bit of torque right there. And if I'm in a parade somewhere, I'll drop it down to the bottom, and that gives me a lot of torque. I don't want anybody hurt, so I will end up making my horses stop before they hurt somebody. This is our drive lines, and the better drive lines have a buckle on them. This horse can reach over with a snap, and he can bite down on it, and he can literally unsnap that thing. And so we go through this loop here, bring this line around, and we put it in the second hole there. Now we're all set. That's not going to come undone, so we're safe there. This here is our, well, let me do that check line. All right. This is our check line. This goes over his head. Whoop. It goes back here, and it hooks with this one. So when he pulls down, it keeps him from throwing his head down, and that there just helps him keep from bucking. If the horse can't get your head down, it likely can't buck. But if you notice, it goes from here up across the withers, down, snaps on here, and then it goes down to his breeching strap. So if he pulls down, he's pulling on his butt, and so he's not going to go down very far. And so if we're plowing, it's oftentimes easy just to snap that, drape that, so it's not in the way, and that lets him to move around in plowing more freely. And so we have the lines. So let me share with you a couple of things, and we'll close for this little session. Let me encourage you to treat your horses well, to feed them good, make sure you got good vet care, and then you get an opportunity to come out to Landmark Park, and we're going to be out here from time to time, and you might can call and find out when we're going to be out here. So if we're out here doing wagon rides and you'd like to ride and drive, you're welcome to it. All you do have to pay to get in, and when you ride my wagon out here at Landmark Park, it's free, of no charge. And then we also have a wedding carriage for folks that would like to get married, and then around in November, we're going to be out here several days during November and the 1st of December with the sleigh, so you can have your picture, family picture made in front of the Waddell house. There you go. And look forward to it. And you have a blessed day. And check with at Landmark Park, and they can tell you all about this stuff. God bless you and have a great day.